Week 4 at the community garden. Our lesson today is on snails and slugs. And yes, we like them because they're good composters, but we don't like them to compost the vegetables we want to grow. So everything in balance, and a little bit here, a little bit there. So there's several things you can do. With slugs, you have to manage them a little differently than the snails. Our ducks will eat the slugs quite easily, but the snails have a hard coating, so they have to be prepared for them. I'm going to talk primarily about slugs to begin with, and then we'll talk about the specialties that you have to do for the escargot. So slugs, well, both slugs and snails do not like certain things, and they love other things. Absolutely love beer. Designer beers are better? No, not really. Stale beer's fine. You can do a really simple slug trap. This can, you can use tuna or a cat food can. Put just enough beer in there for them to have a party. You don't want the beer to get diluted from rain. Put a little rock or something over. They can crawl in there. They get paper thin. They can crawl in there. The snails, however, can't because they're shells, right? So with the snails, I would do something a little bit different. I would probably take this can and I would put it in a little house. So I've just simply put a couple of stakes there. I might make that go a little bit lower, but you can just make a little rain umbrella for it, little house, and that will keep the rain from diluting the beer, but still allow access to the slugs. So again, I would probably go a little shorter on that. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. We'll just leave that in there, and we'll see, Lisa, how many you end up collecting over this week. This is the designer model of that. This is what's in my garden. And I had fun at the clay studio making little snails. So I like the designer model, but the rocks are, pretty natural looking too. So you can do that. So beer is one way. Sluggo, this is an organic, OMRI approved slug bait. And it is iron phosphate is the active ingredient in Sluggo. The other ones, do not use them. They will kill your pets if they get a hold of it. This stuff will not. It is pet safe and child safe. Wouldn't recommend eating it too much though. Another way to get them is go out after dark with a little stick of any kind. A longer stick if you want with a sharp end, and just simply take a flashlight, you'll spot them, and you can spare them. Or, just a small stick to shish kebab them. So we've got beer, we've got Sluggo, we've got a physical interrupter, if you will. And then they also do not like copper. There is an electrolysis process that's set up that if you put this around a bed, they wouldn't crawl inside there. The important part is to make sure you don't have any in there to begin with, because they won't go out either. So you want to make sure, if you put copper up, what I would recommend you do, if you're doing like a large area, I would put the copper up. I would use some Sluggo or another method, and on the inside, and that will take care of it. We used for several years until we got our ducks little copper collars. And these little copper collars you could put around a plant that you didn't want them to crawl up. For instance, this kale right here, you could simply wrap the collar right around it, and now they won't crawl up the plant and eat it. That takes a lot of work though. It's a lot of little slug dressings, if you will. So that's a little bit time consuming. Oh, and look, our little snails decided he likes my glove, the one that I put over here. The other thing is you can, if you don't want to stab them, you can also squish them or tenderize them, and then you can feed them to the ducks. I'm not going to do it. Judy's going, eat. Or you can give them a bath. This guy has just had a bath. Soapy water, quite a bit of soap. And then, I would suggest for the next few weeks, because we have an infestation of snails, and again, the ducks won't eat those. So there's your other really great predator beneficial is you just have ducks and they'll eat all the slugs, which they've done quite well, but the snails not so much. So you can put this lid on here, you could leave it out here, we can maybe label it snail water. Yeah, so Lisa, she has some specific areas in this garden that are infested with snails, and rather than guessing, because it's going to take a while with the, why don't you come and show what you discovered this morning when you got here, because we've been looking for areas that they would like to hide and nest.
I needed bricks this morning, and it gets nice and warm in the bricks.
Ew.
It is
Oh
my God.
full, and I already squished a bunch
Snail
of them.
colony.
It is full.
It is a colony.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, so that charred leaf that I took a picture of the other day and sent to you guys,
Probably came from permaculture.
that was one, they were there. I didn't take them and put them all on there. That was one leaf I picked and they were there. So we have a huge problem. We need to go through and clean out areas.
Remember when we laid the boards down?
Yes, you can do that. That's a really good point. You can lay boards. In fact, Lisa and I
And then they get under
moved a few
And then you look
bricks.
them every night.
Yes, and then and you can do it in the mornings or whenever. You just flip them, stab them, or cut them, and then they're
Scrape
gone.
them off into the bath.
Yep.
Any place
Or
like
sweep them
under
into the
that
bath if you
area.
rather just bathe them. Yes.
They like
And that
messy
kills them,
areas.
right?
Yeah, that will kill them. Yes.
And
We're not
then-
just bathing them.
No, we're not just bathing
And
them.
then-
But you know, if your karma says I can't really,
Oh no.
then
I'm-
good. All right. So that's a lesson on slugs and snails. I did say again, you know, that there is a little bit extra. So with the snails, you either have to drown them, put a separate little, kind of do the house rather than the thing right on top. And I just squish them. And I say a little slug prayer or snail prayer every time I do. And then I go feed them to the ducks because the ducks love them. Absolutely love them. They're great protein. All right, so that's the lesson for today.
Cool,
Thanks.
thank you.
Go ahead.